Revised, right?
It's in black.
Where's the flag? Oh, there it is. Spectre. United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want all the meetings to order. Yeah, motion to open, motion to open the public comment. First up, public comment. There's a sign-in sheet back there. Okay, second, discussion. We have a third. All in favor?
Aye.
You have the list, Tracy? You have the list?
Public comment?
You might be on the back table.
Yeah, is it public comment or public hearing on the budget?
This is the public comment.
This is comment. Okay, so I thought I was looking for the public hearing on the budget. You want me to- Don, you ready?
Yes.
All right, did I put out that right?
Just a little book comes back.
Sure. Your Honor, can you state your name and your address, please?
You can, yeah, just don't close. It is.
Oh, it is.
I'll turn it on.
Yeah, my name is John Michelotti. I'm at 105 Xena Road. My comment, dear Town Board of Hurley, thank you for giving your time to make our town and communities safer, stronger, healthier, and happier. I moved from Shandaken to my house at 105 Xena Road, which I bought in 2018. I was grateful to buy my house then because now I would not be able to afford it. As a small business owner that has sold goods at local farmers markets for the past 10 years, I've seen the community change. Some of my friends and weekend market vendors that teach at schools during the week cannot find affordable housing in the area, and our community is changing as they are priced out. Fortunately, there are some grants available. There are grants available for ADUs through RUPCO, where homeowners are being awarded $112,500 to build ADUs for specialty, specific long-term affordable housing that is guaranteed to rent for 80% or 60% of the area median income, fair market rent, for 10 years. This makes it so that people that grow up and teach our children who did not buy houses before 2020 can afford to live in the area. Now, I don't have kids yet. God willing, my wife and I are hoping to in the next few years. That extra income we could make from investing in an ADU would help us tremendously. Ulster County was awarded $5 million to help homeowners build affordable ADUs. This money will go to the City of Kingston, Village of New Paltz, Village of Ellenville, Town of Woodstock, Town of Saugerties, Town of Rosedale, Town of Lloyd, and the Town of Ulster. As someone who could really use this grant, it saddens me to know that because the Town of Hurley has not yet adopted laws and regulations for ADUs, I may not have access to this grant. At a RUPCO meeting, I was encouraged to get together a project that was turnkey and submit my application anyway. This means putting together an application that is close to submitting for a permit. Paul Economos and I sat down on September 31st, and the current process for applying for approving the accessory apartment was discouraging. I realized that Paul is just relaying the right way to do it based on the current regulations, though the current regulations seem antiquated. One example is that an accessory apartment needs to be 35% or less of the dwelling. My house is 1,264 square feet, which would mean I would need a variance to create anything larger than 442 square feet. I believe the RUPCO minimum is 450 square feet. This limit seems unnecessary for a house my size, but it means going through the process of planning board, zoning board of appeals in order to get this variance. In that time, the RUPCO application process will be over. As I mentioned before, grateful for all you are doing for our communities. Your attention on this matter will be very much appreciated. Can you please answer me, when will the town board adopt the ADU regulations? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I just want to comment on that.
Thanks.
Paul is working on that. On the interview. In fact, he's gonna comment on it a little later today.
They're looking, there's overhauls of the entire zoning code to try to address multiple things. So rather than just like one little thing here, one little thing there by local law, we're trying to make one larger change to address a lot of the problems that we're seeing.
But the thing is, though, you brought up the situation and we're grateful because we can act on it.
Well, you were right. You were great to get right back to me on that. I appreciate it very much.
Okay.
Yeah. And thanks for inviting me to read that statement.
Anybody else? Tracy?
Public comment?
Anybody who wishes to speak? Yeah,
You want a motion to close public comment?
second it.
Any discussion?
Open the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
All right. Public comment, this, session 1 is closed. I hate to do this, we start this thing, but I'm gonna call for executive session. Because we need to discuss a couple of things here in order to follow the agenda here. So I want to open up executive session. For a second.
For the record, we're opening out pursuant to the public officers law 105E, collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service. And in executive session, you're inviting anyone other than the board, such as your attorney, John, and the deputy supervisor.
And Tracy. Okay. All right, more in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Who seconded that? I can have it.
We're still. Okay, welcome to executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing on the approval of the 2025 budget.
Tell me, Mike.
I believe we're going to have a public hearing.
So hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron, could you turn this one down? Except for this. Turn all of them. Turn this one off. That one, that's. I'm just turning the volume this way down. You're good.
Okay, we're going to discuss the town budget of 2025. John, you want to lead this?
Sure. You want to open up the public comment?
You want to first
You need a motion to open a public hearing on the 2025 budget.
But shouldn't we first discuss the budget?
And that while you're opening a public hearing, you guys can discuss it and then take comments from the public, but I will open the public hearing.
Make a motion to open up the public hearing on the 2025 budget.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay. You opened it.
All right, do you want to do a presentation?
Sure. The board would like me to start with, general highways.
I think we can.
Well,
Tell me what you want up. So this is the overview, but just tell me where you want me to go and we'll change them.
So the summary that which you see right there, you'll see, currently the general fund, appropriations will be roughly $2,010,000. I'm sorry, $2,010,991. Is an increase of a little over 2%. With the less expenditures of $1,162,850, those monies will be allocated from revenues that come in via the town, whether it be from sales tax, mortgage tax, things of that nature. Then the rest will be raised by taxes. You'll notice I left the less unexpended balance based on our unknown right now of what that balance would be as far as the surplus. I do believe there will be some surpluses, that can be amended after tonight, and up to roughly November 20th of this year. So hopefully, once we have those allocated funds available, the next couple of weeks, based on, expenditures and revenues, we can then allocate that line and, reduce the actual levy. Highway, same thing, $1,985,859 You'll see where the less estimated revenues are roughly 235,321. Mike pretty much guaranteed at least 200,000 from surpluses to offset the levy. The levy tax then would be, which is what is put out to the residents of the town, is $1,550,538, totaling $1,985,859, approximately 2% increase. The lighting district stays the same. We're hoping with the Central Hudson continuously updating with the LEDs that will go down. The libraries, you'll see, are up about 1%. The fire districts are up about a little over 0.5%. I will say and make a statement in public that as of right now, I have not received the West Hurley Fire District's budget, so I'm not quite sure.
One correction, on the sheet that we got here, it says budget 2023, something.
At the top, I'm sorry, I didn't update.
It just needs to be amended too.
So that's 2025 at the top. I utilize the same formula. So you'll see where that, as of right now, that 0.5 is just the old Hurley Fire District increase. So that's why that is, probably assume a little more if West Hurley comes in and you guys decide to make that amendment. If you guys decide to pass this budget tonight, we could move forward. The current budget that I put in was last year's 24 budget for the West Hurley Fire District. If they do not provide one, that is the budget they'll be utilizing. I'm not looking to make enemies in any way. Those men and women are amazing. This has nothing to reflect on the department itself. So I just want to make sure that, you know, if the possibility that comes and they want to bring that to us, we have the ability to amend that. Moving forward.
So it's 0.57% change.
Just the whole early increases.
West Hurley's flat. This is using flat.
So what's Hurley's?
754.
What last year?
I can tell you.
Is that included this 1.27241?
Yes, yes, sir.
No.
Yep. Yep. So the West Hurley for 24
Has West Hurley given a reason why they haven't?
I've not gotten any reasons, any emails, no notification. I was told that it was done, but it's been emailed or delivered. So $753,150 is last year's budget for 24, so I moved that over. So moving forward, again, leave that up to the town to make that amendment if and when the time comes. Which is a total budget of approximately $5,755,205. That would be the summary page. So the breakdown for that, we want to move forward.
Where do you want to go?
Let's go to the appropriations.
General fund?
General, please.
There you go.
Again, this is 25. I know it's up. It's 20.
I can fix the online versions tomorrow. It's no problem.
Just to show one thing here, which is different than this, we all have what's called the detailed budget.
Yes.
All right, while that one is on the aggregate budget. So we have actually how the breakdown is for each 0.19 is.
And the 1.1s are your salary line. So just so you see the equation and how it's broken down based on personnel in each department. Your town board has stayed the same. Municipal courts actually was reduced based on what I've noticed for salaries. Even I do want to just be very clear that the 90% of the increases in this budget are pay lines based on the union negotiations that have been put forward. So when you see some of these percentages of increases, that is truly what is the largest increases of the budget. So municipal courts, so the two justices, court clerk, 2 security officers, I actually came up with a reduction in that pay line. Municipal court, there was a request for 500, and the municipal court contractuals stayed the same, totaling a little over $1,000 less than that line. Supervisor, you'll see a large reduction in that. The reasoning behind that is the bookkeeper was pulled out of that, and I established an audit and accounting line. You'll see further down where that pay line has been moved to that budget line. There's 0 equipment. There's also the supervisor's contractual stayed the same out of the request for Mike. So you'll see that reduction is quite a bit, 121,404.24 down to 97,458. Your fixed assets, I dropped to 0. We have no reason for it. We haven't used it. So I just pulled that line out. I'm sorry, not pulled the line out. I brought it down to 0. It can still be used for future reference.
Sorry, just one clarification. So on the supervisor, there is the deduction or the reduction from 103 to 80,000, but there's 2 notes.
That's the break.
Yep, so it's 28,000 for the supervisor, which stays the same, and the secretary was 52,000 at the increase of $25 an hour, which totals to 80,000.
The senior account clerk was moved out
Out of there.
here. It wasn't, the bookkeeper was in here previously.
So how is this accounted for? I'm not sure I understand how this works.
Those two. Those equals 80,000.
So the creation of the 0.01 lines,
Yeah.
just so you're aware, we broke that down, so in future references.
Yeah.
If I'm not here, y'all are here, we have the ability to say, this is what they were paid last, so this is what the increases are.
Yeah.
It's just a much easier way to do our,
Yeah.
appropriations, especially.
What's supervisor contractual?
Well, so
That could be-
supervisor-
That could be like the grant writer. Anything that the grant writer could be, well, this year we had, Jim Quigley. Quality contractor. Yeah, that's what came out.
Yep, so you have potential use of an attorney, if you need to talk to an attorney, you have the uses of any contractual agreements that potentially you might have to incorporate to do the functions of his job. And you all are gonna have to talk about that in another couple days. Fixed assets, like we said, 0, other thing in bookkeeping. So you'll see, that person is now making $70,770. That is a jump of roughly double. So,
So John, if we add that with the 2025 budget under the supervisor, that's the total that we compare to 121 for last year.
if you'd like to,
Correct.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That would be again, the increase of 35,000. That's a double, it's 25, and the increase to the secretary pay line for, the request for, contractual would be for the accountant, bookkeeper, accountant, secretary. What was there? Back side? We just determined that.
Senior account clerk. You got it on there. Senior account clerk.
So the senior account clerk requested the monies to, 1, for education, 2, for certain programs that need to have an annual fee to maintain, QuickBooks, Wilson, things of that nature.
Software.
For the software. So that account then totals to 72,770. Your tax collector. So what I did this year is I broke down tax collector based on timeline. So giving the tax collector the time period from January 1 through roughly about March, the time it takes for that office to securely get the taxes out, collected, mailed, and brought back in. I gave them a little extra time on the request for the clerk and the clerk.
Little extra time.
So, and also having a new clerk coming in, there's gonna be a learning curve. So we adjusted that a little bit. So you'll see that. Plus, of course, their pay their hourly pay increase.
I just want to say something also, that's different this year. The deputy supervisor. But we have the amount 2,500 that was always budgeted the past 2 years, sir.
What? No more deputy
No more deputy
supervisor?
supervisor, amount on the,
Oh, right. Yes, I am not taking a stipend this year, nor have I ever paid somebody to do this job. The job of a deputy supervisor is only to do the job of the supervisor when the supervisor cannot do the job, barring like illness, out of town, God forbid death.
right, and that was
So
part
there's
of,
no reason to pay somebody to sit around waiting for that to happen.
and that was part of the, 1220.1 line also.
So that's been removed from that, yes, so.
Sorry. So this $103,000 included the deputy supervisor?
Yep.
This math is not working out for me.
I didn't do that, that's not my year.
No, I understand that.
It's actually, it's 121,404 is the total for that year, where, you know, the 28,000 plus the secretary, plus,
The book,
That's the deputy.
yeah, and the bookkeeper. And the 35,000 for the bookkeeper. Came out of that line.
This was 35,000 the previous year, it was in here.
And don't forget that the mayor's salary has increased substantially.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I mean, this number 103,946.
That was
trying to
last
understand.
year.
that was last year's, and that included,
That's a 2024 budget,
Correct.
which includes salaries for how many people? The deputy supervisor, yourself, and Samara,
And the bookkeeper.
and the
And the
bookkeeper.
bookkeeper.
And the question I'm asking is that this number, 102,946, seems to be low based on what you're saying.
Well, if you like me to do, again, you want me to do the math, I'll try to figure it out. I just carried it over, I just carried the budget line over from,
Looking was part-time, was that, wasn't being part-time job?
remember it was 35.
There's 35,000 necessary between what they budgeted for and what was actually expended. So,
So the secretary was getting 19, she's now getting $25 an hour. So
And deputy was 2,500, right?
And
deputy was
deputy-
25.
So, but when, so Greg,
I get it. I get it. Slow on that.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's America, it's those, not.
Is everybody to move forward? You sure?
Yeah, we go, thank you.
Okay, so it's a tax collector. Again, we broke that down. So you're gonna see the pay line for taxer. Roughly what I did is I've taken from January to March to utilize the pay line in the tax collector 81330. So there's no contractual needed in there. So that line comes straight down. So it's 21,900. You'll see when we get to the town clerk's line where the rest of that fee will come from for that department. The budget officer is 5,000, it stayed the same. The assessors, we did give, the assessor an increase. She hasn't had the increase as far as I can remember, 2-3 years now. So we gave her a 4% increase. So her pay now is 49,900. The assessor's aid, again, was increased based on contractual negotiation. So she'll receive 10,400. Of that 60,300. So that should be brought down. Okay, equipment, she requested nothing for equipment, and contractually, there was a $750 request based on needs from her. Again, I sent out a budget worksheet for all departments. They basically, they put like their needs, wants, and musts. So I broke things down based on that. So that's where, if there was a necessity, I felt, we would include it. If it wasn't, we are really skin and bones on this budget. So the increases in pay lines, I didn't want to increase too much. So then that assessor's line now is $61,050. The town clerk, the additional hours for the deputy and the clerk come out of that line. Actually, no, the clerk comes out of that line as well as the continuing hours for the deputy clerks. So that would be the remaining pay line for them.
That's town clerk contractual 24.
I didn't do the point ones. I didn't do the math.
On what, on the 24 lines?
It's 617.
Take the 11,000.
Mike, you did the math on these?
I hope so.
I think it's actually correct.
It is 34,320 was 23,
Yeah, it's actually correct.
it is correct.
Yeah.
Good job, man, yeah.
Yes.
Moving forward. You're 46,500.
Got another 11,000.
And that, yeah,
I didn't write that. It could be another deputy clerk. That's a deputy clerk.
So anyway, there's something wrong there.
The budget, again, these point ones. So we can go back and we can address that. I can tell you the clerk's gonna get 46,500.
Right.
The remaining of these two balance lines is going to be going to the deputy clerks, whatever that is.
Including, and that gets added to what you pay in as a tax collector.
yes.
Correct. Those two functions are gonna be, are gonna determine.
Okay.
their pay lines.
Right, so you're saying that the.
The net- the net pay of the two salaries.
They get paid out of 2 lines.
Right, just need to be clear.
Okay, so the contractual for that, again, was it's 3,335. So I just moved that forward. There was no added request. So moving forward, I brought it right over, which is a increase of little over roughly $3,000 to 72,655. The attorneys, brought over.
The correction on that, Matt just told me that it's 225 an hour. Not 255.
Again, I didn't write that. So you wrote.
Okay.
So, yeah, but anyway, the budget is still 85,000 for the attorneys. In fact, will come out of that line. Stayed the same, engineer, 35,000.
One thing. Go back to,
3,500, I'm sorry.
go back to the attorney with Romer Wallens. 1250 is what they're
A month,
month right now.
right.
They have, when you asked for their next contract, we haven't gotten it yet for next year.
I got an email stating there was no increases.
Oh, good.
And they also do bill for certain services hourly in addition. to
Correct.
services.
Which we found out the hard way.
Yeah.
See a lot of near Lagos, like I've seen.
So this engineering is not, it is for these, but we very rarely utilize this for, like, for example, if we wanted to do the town library, we would request the engineer come and give us an engineer report on that.
It doesn't include like a stormwater thing.
No, that's all escrow. That all comes out of the H lines, depending on what that function is. So this would just be for a property owned by the town,
Gotcha, okay.
which we very rarely
Yeah.
use. The elections was 0. It's been 0 for a number of years. Record management. That is this. I just brought that down. I don't know where the $2,421 goes to from the previous budget, but it was always the $250 allocation that the clerk got that she could either keep or give to one of her deputies based on her request.
To do that or pull the money in as we collect it according to other towns.
But the buildings line there's an increase of 26,000. You'll see the maintenance worker has been put into that. That's where the 20 extra thousand came from at $25 an hour for 20 hours a week. The buildings contractual was reduced to 120. So with removing the maintenance worker contractual, we will now, that's where that difference comes from. So he's no longer contractual, he's now an employee. So you see that with
Right.
communications, stayed the same. So the contractual, I'm not quite sure what would be needed from that. I don't even think we've expelled anything from that line. I don't know. No, this contractual would be something in reference to what you would need, maybe like,
So the way that my last conversation with Wendy was, I think all of the expenses, so like the copier expense, there's a lot of expenses that do come out of that. It's whatever contractual,
whatever that person uses.
whatever is utilized here in this building in terms of
The phones.
the phone, the.
Oh, okay, I got what you're saying. So
Internet.
so we incorporated Jeremy into.
Oh, that's different.
No,
This is-
building
yeah,
is under the building's contractual for whatever reason.
This is service.
Buildings contract.
Yeah, I know.
But that's where they,
That's where we're putting it now. Okay.
I'm just saying, not.
No, you're right with the central communications as far as what's being brought out of there contractually. I'm just.
What was brought out of there?
20. no, not
It went from
20.
140 to 120, buildings contractual.
There was,
1620.4.
That's to account for the individual who used to be on contracts who's now going to be salary.
salary.
So your maintenance person is.
Last year, we
Separate
had,
line, he's
Yes.
he's a point one line.
we moved up to, point one lines, also point four line.
So anyways, the communications did not change. It stays the same, both the pay line and the contractual. Printing and mailing stayed the same. I did make a note there for a reserve account. We have surpluses to put in for the new printer. We'll have those informations as we get closer to the December months and you guys do your changeovers for your adjustments on your lines. So that stayed at 12,000. The unallocated insurances stayed at 50,000. Municipal dues, again, 3,700 stayed the same. Contingency lines stayed the same. Schools and conferences, there was a request for, again, we have new personnel, we have potentially a new council person. And we have a new clerk coming in, so there's added monies in it to send them to school to make sure that they're up to speed on what they need to do their job. Traffic control, stayed the same, you'll see.
That's gonna be an increase.
Well,
Because
as
if
of
we-
right now, we don't know what those numbers
Right, I
are.
know, but if the speed signs, speed allocations, get lowered, we need signs.
Right, and
I thought that was put some.
so my suggestion would be to establish a reserve
Fund for that.
and not tax the people for that if we can. This is something that we can plan ahead and establish a reserve account and not have to put into a budget, utilize surpluses. That's the best way to do it. If in fact we get this passed and we don't have the monies, you wait till you get the monies. And then you enforce it with your signage. Fire districts, $500. I know there's just always this question. So that $500 is an agreement that the town has with the fire department so that they can purchase fire equipment to assist with the DEP properties or any of the forest fires and things of that nature. So this is something that we've done for years. This is always, so it's basically a grant from the town to give to the fire departments to offset costs for their purchases of those types of firefighters.
3310.4.
No, 34.
34.
10, 3411.
Oh,
3411 and
3410.
3410.
Okay, so that's CE, so.
Contractual.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
contractually, so not continuing.
Yep.
Got it.
The dog ordinance, stayed the same, except for I did increase the $100. The $100 is always left in that equipment line. That was actually the cost of a cell phone. I know it sounds crazy, but the cost to replace the flip phone that the SPCA has from the town is $100. So if God forbid something happens to that phone, that money is then in that line, you can take it out and you can replace the phone. If it's not there, you put it in for your sign section. That was the increase for that. Assessment review. Those are the monies that are allocated for the folks to do the grievances. Stayed the same. Code enforcement, you'll see the increases for the pay lines. for both the CEO, the building clerk, the building inspector. There is an enforcement equipment request of $1,000 for a printer. And the code enforcement contractual was increased based on needs. Municipal, what is it called? Municipality, things of that nature. But we know we also have certain equipment that are going to need to be upgraded also in that department, as well as new personnel for what's needed. So you're gonna have a new full-time person, so they're gonna need computers and things like that. So that's where you see the increase of about $11,000. There was a request for a part-time person. I let the board discuss that. So that was brought to my attention again. So I can discuss that, and we can always make an amendment to the budget based on the all's agreement. But I do have that information to provide to you for your document. Civil defense is 0. Registrar of vital statistics stayed the same. The highway supervisor highway pay line stayed the same as far as the superintendent. The secretary pay line went up, plus she has an increase of her the longevity pay, so that jumped her up, pretty well there. The deputy superintendent is still at 2,500. 0 equipment line, and the contractual agreement was 3,000. There was an increase for radios and things of that nature, Verizon, the GPS. So I believe a lot of that is what will be coming out of that contractual. For Mike, so you'll see the increase of just under 10,000, roughly about $8,000. That again, 1,500 is contractual, and the pay line increases for the secretary. Town garage stayed the same. I do want to, I know you might think this is crazy, but I did the math. The lease is up in August, so there'll be a 4-month potential where we'll have to negotiate. I did incorporate a percentage for that increase. I am not going to disclose that right now because if you guys go to negotiations, it just wouldn't be smart for me to do that. So for that last 4 months, I did put that percent in. Plus, I went back and I did all the math for the heating fuels and things of that nature. And with the decrease in fuel prices right now, I do believe that price will still be fine. So moving forward, I left that the same. Hopefully you have a garage built, we don't have to worry about it. Miscellaneous, so I'm not quite sure what the miscellaneous pay line was. We've not utilized that. So I believe that maybe it was an offset of pay in the past, so I just did away with it. There was no notification of what it was for, who it was for in the past budget, so.
And it wasn't spent either.
And it wasn't spent. So, nope. Townwide street lighting stayed the same. Again, that's the town's portion of the street lights, which would be out here at Town Hall, in certain corners that we are responsible for. You see all the zeros moving down. Senior citizens, that's kept the same. That's primarily for their bus trips. Parks, you'll see. So one of the things that the supervisor would like to do, and I think it would save the town money, is to start utilizing our maintenance worker to do the lawn services. It's roughly about an $8 an hour savings, in some cases more. So moving forward, you'll see some increases here, and that is based on the parks pay line increase, was to have the maintenance person mow the grass at the fields and so on and so forth. Contractual stays the same, so the increase of roughly 2,000 is because of that pay line increase.
Make sure that we're providing them with appropriate training to operate the mower and also any safety equipment required to do that.
I just do the budget.
Okay, I'm just stating for the
Yeah,
record.
no, that
Yeah.
makes
I'm
sense.
looking at
And the
the
right
record.
equipment, the right equipment.
Yes, correct. Let's make sure that they have all the right equipment for doing that.
The recreation stayed the same, equipment stayed the same. Contractual, I did increase that contractual line. So I think the town is ready to continue to grow in our recreational uses, whether it be for our children, our seniors, all residents of the town. We're going to be needing that sign at the town park is, needs to be changed. All right.
That sign is part of the, grant that we get it.
You get the new sign out there?
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, because what it was when, it was put in last year, they asked what, changes you want to be, and there's a couple of park benches, there's a signage also.
Well, I do have, quotes coming in for signs, so if that's the case, and you guys need to adjust this budget, I have no problem removing that
Yeah.
on an amended budget.
Yes.
Once I get those. So as of right now, it's 13,500. The rail trail, you'll see the pay line there also is for mowing. The 4,000, goes right now to the highway department to do that. I did speak to the highway. We're gonna have to discuss this. Let's just leave that as is, because there might be, I don't know if we're gonna be able to use highway equipment in order to mow that. It takes 2 days to mow it with a tractor of about 8 foot mowing, deck. So we'll talk about it, but it's in there, whether it be highway or whether it be our maintenance personnel, it's there. Tractor stayed the same, so that line stayed at 4,750. The historian stayed the same. Celebration line, I increased that, for multiple reasons. One is our Memorial Day parade, but we also have our annual Hurley Day now. So I think that, we were very blessed this year to have one good weather, but we had, pretty much everything donated, from multiple sources, and we had great volunteers. Everything happened. We kind of, and I had the meeting last night. We can go, I actually have all that. We can go through that. Talking recreation. Right. So I was able to use some of that funds for that too. But so that's where that increase is. So basically it's a $1,500 increase to put into the Hurley Day for next year. Whatever that may be. The zoning, again, the increase is there for the secretary's pay. Actually, there was no, it actually was reduced because the hours were reduced. So then the contractual, we'll see, was increased, which brought it up to the exact same amount from last year, 17,259. Contractual increase was requested from planning secretary for multiple things that she needs for zoning to do her job. So that was, those requests were met. Planning was increased, so that that secretary did also get an increase in pay. So you'll see where that's roughly a $4,000 increase. The contractual stayed the same. I spoke to her again yesterday about that. She was fine as long as her requests were met as far as her needs for computer and technology and things of that nature programs. Let's see. Oh, environment. The environmental line stayed at 55,000.
That is the, DJ poles.
So leachate pools. There's no increase as far as that, so the upper has kept that the same. The city of Kingston, again, there's no increases there to take the rainwater. Refuse garbage, you'll see the increases again, primarily pay lines for 157,624. The contractual line was increased. The tipping fees have gone up, as well as certain fees have gone up, mattresses and things of that nature. I would request the board sit and force the transfer station to go through their fees, what the county has increased, and make the changes for 2025. So when they have the new trifolds come out, it's offsetting costs, at least offsetting costs. As of right now, I raised it. I did.
Can you pass them up to my office?
Okay. Yep. So the increase there was minimal, also because we should be reducing our waste based on food consumption weight. So the tipping should go down. I'm hoping that moving the lines across, that we actually see a surplus at the end of the year because of the zero waste. But I did put monies in there to offset whatever costs they are until the upstart of that happens. Recycling stayed the same. Conservation stayed the same. Cemetery did the same. Usually what would happen is the historian would come to us and request certain monies if tombstones needed to be replaced, acid wash, they were broken, whatever it needed. He did not come back to me, so assuming we're okay there. The retirement line stayed the same. Social Security, you'll see it's gone up based on the pay lines going up. Social Security is based on pay, so that's where you see that. Workman's comp stayed the same. The workman's comp actually probably could have been reduced a little bit because Hurley has pools their money with the county, and that in doing so over the years and not utilizing so much of that pool, we do have money sitting there. But contractually, but budget wise, carrying it over, if there's any extras, we can then put that towards whatever we need. So rather than going lower, I just brought it over. The unemployment insurance stayed the same. Disability insurance stayed the same. Your hospital and medical insurances, it was a 6.5% increase on your medical. We had multiple new folks coming in that are not going to be receiving medical. So that's where you'll see an increase of roughly, $30,000 and change. And that we have no control of medical. So it's 6.5, next year it could be 9. So I've seen it as high as 12. Infrared transfer capital, 0. Grand total appropriations of $2,010,991, which equates to your summary, which y'all were given earlier. Now, how the hell are we going to pay for it? So,
What do you want, general fund revenue?
please. Anybody, any of the town members or?
Yeah, I just want to say something about the 2024 budget and 2025. The 2024 budget was 1.8 million. The 2023 budget was 2.1 million. It was reduced.
Also, we're going back to the 2003.
Actually, the 2023 budget was 2.1 million, and the 2024 budget, it was proposed 1.8. It was dropped to $1,000. So it should be back to 2.1 million.
And that's with over $100,000 in pay increases.
Right.
So,
So in a sense, if this was it was legitimate like 2023,
Right.
the increase should have been minimal for any time.
we were off about 300,000, so we're actually paying 300,000. The budget should have included that 300,000 we're paying out of our budget. Okay, so you'll see the levy was increased, roughly $19,980. So that's, again, that's not, sorry.
No,
Talking about this one. You're talking about revenue now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's up on the screen.
But you see, I made my help.
Not this one.
Well, that's why I was like, over 30,000. That's there's two, I think 2 or 3, 2 more. So the revenues, so top is your levy. That's what the taxpayers pay. That's what the county will put out for the good folks that early to put forth and pay. So there was a $19,980 increase over however many homes, I should say properties in the town. That shouldn't be too much of a hurt on the pockets. I will say that, again, we just spoke about the pay lines. So we have to increase the levy periodically, if not a little bit every time. If you don't increase your levy, you're always going to be relying on unallocated funds, which just aren't. It's not a reliable source of income. So, for example, I've always had my levy pay my salary. So the pay line always equated to whatever the levy was. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. God forbid there's a situation where the town shuts down If you don't have those allocated funds, whether it come from the building department, transfer station, whatever it may be, you now have to come up with that money to pay your people. So we always wanted to, so in my philosophy, we need to continue to increase the levy. I'm a taxpayer for the town, but God forbid something happens and our people that work here can't get paid because we don't have the money coming in from other resources. It's just unacceptable. So good, managing should equate to your levy, at least paying your salaries. Moving forward, you can't afford your lawyers or we don't use your town shut down anyway. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving forward, real property tax was 35,000. The non-property tax items, 230,000. Department incomes, the clerk's office, I increased 500 based on, I believe the park use is going to be more. I believe you'll see, hopefully not a lot of deaths, but things of that nature is where you're going to start seeing these types of increases. The safety inspections, we see an increase for that to offset. So a lot of the departments, you're looking to at least offset. You're not here to make money, but if you can at least get close, then we're doing really well. So that's where you're going to see a lot of this. Your registrar and vital statistics stay the same. The EV, we hope to maybe collect some money when we get the new one, but as of right now, it's unclear. So I put 0 in there. It's just not necessarily feasible.
We'll put it this way, we didn't make 500 this year.
We paid more than that.
Yes.
Park use fees, I kept the same. I do believe that'll go up. Your zoning fees stayed the same. Planning board fees stayed the same. Your refuse charges stayed the same. Totaling 409,500. Use of our interest and earnings, and so currently we're making a little under 5% on our roughly $7 million investments. So at 4%, we would get 280,000. So Mr. Baums feels that that's a number that he can pull across 12 months. Currently, like we stated, the increase is about 4.65, 4.7.
I can tell you right now that our interest right now for the beginning of the year, we have one account, $47,000 was our interest in one account, and $256,000 in another account. That's for 9 months. So that's right now we're talking about $315,000
Based
2
on,
months ago.
that's based on 5% change.
And
Now
well,
now it's down.
now it's at
The
4.6.
Federal Reserve,
It's potentially going to. Right.
4.6.
So we did allocate for the decrease of at least two more.
Continue.
Two more.
Yeah.
Yep, so we did allocate at least 2 more drops of at least 0.25%, roughly 0.5%, which would still be just around 4%. If it does go below 4%, based on the first however many months come into play, I feel that we will have that increase to offset whatever decreases goes below the 4%. So with that, that's.
you also see quantitative easing in prices, from vendors and things like that, theoretically.
Maybe,
If the rate were to really get low.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into politics. That could change too.
Fiscal
That could change
policy,
it too.
it's not a problem.
No, I'm just saying, but it could change too after.
Right, it depends on the outcome of it.
So 280,000 is, was budgeted, licenses and permits. Sorry, go ahead.
You're confident about this is double? You feel comfortable about that?
The 140,000 was based on 2%. In 2023, based on 2%, and that we have now, for the most part, until the prime is cut, we're getting 5.25% now.
So what did you average it? How did you do this calculation?
The calculation, I assumed, I made a decision that I think the prime will go down to 4%. From that aspect of it, so we have like 7.2 million in the bank right now. So that's what we talk about, 280,000. At least that.
You're saying 4% for across the whole year.
Right. But
So it
then,
might be higher in the beginning and lower in the end.
right.
But we'll have-
Right.
And what's that also be getting interest on the interest?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that means compound. So, yeah, so I understand. Okay,
Seems reasonable. I don't think it's.
so what you're just saying is that average over the year, we're looking at probably like 4%.
Right.
That makes sense.
Dog licenses, I believe, based on revenues
Huge
coming in.
drop.
I did bring that down. So I don't know if there's less dogs, whatever. I just saw that on the revenues line is dramatically decreased. I know letters just went out, so this actually could be better. With the new letters that went out and people coming in and paying, but as of right now, based on that 8-month projection that I saw divided into 12, I reduced that. Plus, again, you have a new clerk coming in, so who knows where that office will be, and they'll be sending out those letters. You know, that's not necessarily the most important thing for that office, so. Fines and forfeitures at 35, sales of property kept it at 10. State aid, and mortgage tax and, code enforcement all stayed at the same rate, totaling 162,000, which is where you come up with your 2,010,991 to offset your expenditures. Any other questions?
Yeah, sales tax.
Sales tax.
Is that 1120, non-property tax item?
Correct. 1120.
Okay, I could, I just,
Remember, we got 85,000.
I-
You can't include that 1% increase that we got. It's a one-time thing.
Right.
But the
Well,
75,000.
that 1% increase was, the second year.
Where is it?
You can't,
I know,
you shouldn't assume that the county's gonna give that to you. Now we're gonna there's more taxes coming in based on cannabis potentially, the town's potentially gonna put the law into effect, so we'll see what happens.
We've only got,
We can't put that in there,
yeah,
so.
so far we've got $200,000.
Yeah, but we don't have a cannabis law. Well, we do,
We don't,
just, well, okay.
It doesn't matter whether you have a cannabis.
We
law or not.
approved in Hurley, so that's what we get. The county then issued us
We opted in.
$200 based on that. Right. But your law, yes, you're creating a law, but we opted in, so we all receive a certain sales tax.
What's been your mortgage tax? Revenue. Receive?
we got 110,000.
My mortgage tax thus far is $85,560. Sales tax is, I have to do all 3 quarters. I haven't broken down to 3 quarters, but it's like 61. 170,000. And that included a little bit of 23. So you gotta remember that quarter comes in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, are we dealing with, talking about, highway budget, their revenue?
I haven't. I know you guys, I don't think.
Well, the thing is what's gonna happen also, we are gonna get an additional $100,000 in CHIPS money, because, they rejected last year's $100,000 worth. A ballot paperwork, so you never got it, if you get it this year.
So you see the 200,000, we put it into the unallocated funds. It could really be 300. Again, you guys can amend that if you like. I haven't seen a $100,000 check at the table yet, so.
It's coming. They're gonna notify us that, it's out.
At the end. Ready for highway?
I am with you.
We're gonna have to look at the,
You don't have highway, do we?
I don't think you guys, everybody, I sent it to everybody, but it's up on the board. So the appropriations, is that what you got?
Yes, this is appropriation.
Thank you. So there was, so I went through this, you're gonna see some deductions in the pay lines. The request for the overtime, I pretty much denied a lot of it. My theory is overtime is for snow. And if you can control your overtime based on your construction year, your times of the year, repair times of the year. Mike does a phenomenal job with his budget. I do believe that he can maintain that. So you'll see, the repair lines, I did make an increase there for the overtime, but that overtime potentially could be utilized for all 3 of those pay lines. You'll see. So the repair line, you'll see an increase, 314,000. Again, that's also the pay increases. So the contractual line stayed the same, so you'll see an increase of a little under $10,000 there. Permanent improvements, that's 300,000, that's part of your trips. That's what we do. We put 300 out there, we repair 300, maybe a little more, but we always try to get that 300 back. The machinery line, you'll see the pay line that I put in for exactly how many hours. I didn't put any overtime in. So I removed, so you'll see a decrease there. The equipment line, there was a request for certain equipment, so that was an increase there. And then the contractual stayed the same, so you'll see that actually went up about $100. Miscellaneous, your pay lines, you'll see the reduction in there. Again, I pulled all the overtime out of there. So we're just straightforward pay, plus their increases. Contractual stayed the same. The snow lines, you'll see, I did pull the overtime out of there, but I did increase the repair line, so Mike he can adjust that as needed. And if we keep up with the last couple of winters, we really didn't have much snow. So the pay lines that was reduced there. You'll see the contractual, God forbid, we need something to go out, we need to pay a company to do some snow plowing or something of that nature, or removal, then it's still there. I believe that's also part of like your salt and sand mixes and things of that nature too. Employee benefits, the retirement. So the retirement was way off from 24. So you'll see that's where that increase is larger. And based on the calculations of 7.65% overall pay lines is where you're going to come up with Social Security. So that was a little bit of a reduction because I removed overtime. The workman's comp again was reduced. We don't really, we're not utilizing the workman's comp, so there's no need to bring that over. So I did my best with our senior counselor. I sat down and we went through the workman's comp, and we deciphered that we can reduce that line. Unemployment insurance stayed the same. Disability insurance stayed the same. Medical insurances went up. Again, that's that 6.5%. So you'll see that increase of work.
And there's no change in headcount.
No.
So that shows,
Nope.
that shows your clear picture.
That's just your strip. Yep. Debt services, is 50,000. Your interest in debt services is 2,450, totaling 52,450, giving you the $1,985,859 as was on your summary. Revenues. Please.
Well, there you go.
Again, based on your levy, $1,550,538 will be levied out to the property owners, which is roughly an increase of about 30,000. State aid is 0. CHIPS money, again, it's 210. If we do get that extra money, you can put it in an H line and you can buy trucks with it, offset your bond. So you can decide. State aid for your paving. So you'll see that 235,321. Sales and scrap materials brought down to 0.
Why?
Because sales of equipment, I wasn't told that we have anything that we're selling.
We are selling those 2 trucks that we're replacing.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, how much I know Tim asked, what would you get for it on the, I didn't receive any information.
It's subject to an auction.
Yeah. So I can't put a number in there without having.
They're on a dart at the board.
Bureau and getting more and
Yeah, that was underestimated.
Did we get 7,000 back
From
equipment
I
sold?
think a little more.
Did you get it? Total highway fund revenues, you'll see is 1,785,859, again, which is your, on your summary review.
Special districts.
I use trucks that we're selling. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if we give make a diamond for it. Yeah, so our, I apologize.
0 cents, $1. You're lucky for me.
excuse me one second. So you'll see the special districts. Just
Same.
specifics of things that are allocated the lines for.
Oh, it's appropriations.
This is special district appropriations.
This is revenue.
So they're both the same appropriations and revenues for your special districts. We don't have to find that revenue. There's both, but I'm just saying. Anyway. All right, so your lighting district, as stated earlier, stayed the same, 12,000. Your library districts, Hurley, is 253,565. Slight increase. The West Hurley Library District, went down 1,000, or a little under 1,000. So your new allocated, budget line for that was $504,409. Your Hurley Fire Department, 235,010. That is for the levy. Your fire district principal, which is for the firehouse. You all know you have a bond on that, right? So the principal was 191,000, will be $191,057. And the interest paid out next year will be $62,629. Which is a total of, I guess I should have known that. $488,796, which is approximately $7,000 more from last year, which is your 0.5, what was it, 0.57% increase. West Hurley Fire District, as you can see, 24 was $753,150. And I just pushed it over, again, we have not received that budget, so.
That's the only one that we haven't received. Everything else was.
Yep, everything else has been received, voted on, and approved. Your special tax district revenues, $1,758,355. So, and that would also be your revenues, would be the same thing as your allocations. So, again, all of those special districts, so those go out to the public through those specific districts, so we have no control over those budgets. We just have to bring them into the county with our budget, and then the county then when we disperse those taxes. Just so. Now, also on that special tax, which is not on the summary, which has, which will be will be brought to the county as well, is the EMS. So that will be, so the EMS will be an increase of 450,000, if we all know, that was voted on and approved. That will go into this next year. That'll go into your special tax districts.
So why wouldn't you put it in now?
Because until I have the county give me what exactly they want from me on the budget. This is just a summary page, and this is just so I just as a request, I'm just bringing it up so it's in the minutes. It will be on this. I did not put it on here until I know exactly how the county wants me to address it for that. They know about it. They've already been told 450,000. The assessor has already, and Debbie, you want to speak on behalf of this. So we're county's we're aware of it. It just is how they want me to present it and add it to our budget is, I don't know yet. It's just something new for me. So.
And just a clarifying point too, is that first year when you add a special district, it does not apply, the cap does not apply to that. So the 2% cap does not apply.
Right.
So we'll have 450, and then next year, when we go to 26, that 2% applies to the 450,000.
If we go over.
If we would go over,
Right.
it would apply to that. So the first year it does not.
But I do want to add to the minutes that we did that, we added to the special passage.
Yeah. And the budget, when do we need to send out this budget? When's it?
November 15th.
By November 15th, we'll have all that information in respect to the Reeds district.
We will have it by November 8th.
What's that?
November 8th is the, when the permit,
November 8th is when,
30 days.
it's 30-day notice, and that's when the, district goes into effect
Right, so then, once we have 100% approvals and everything's set, I can then.
and included.
So, I mean, you're welcome to open it to the public. At that point, when you close, you're welcome to also vote on it. You do not have to vote on the budget tonight if you don't want to. But if you do vote on it, and you approve or not approve, if you approve, you can always amend it without going back to a public hearing. So you're for clarification.
You want to do the actuals, or should I do that?
You can do that, sure.
All right, the next thing is the actuals. This is what we spent.
Yeah. Just, you're looking for this?
Yep.
Okay.
These are all the, 0.1 line, these are the personal service lines coming through where, what you see in red is we're over, and what's not over is different black. And basically, you'll see that the town board is right on schedule. In other words, that, it's gonna reach the 24,000. Municipal court also probably reach that maximum also, when it comes in December. Supervisor, my line of it, 1220.1, we're over. The reason why we're over, that's we stuck everybody at work there now. We stuck in, the bookkeepers in there with the raise, we put Quigley in there with the raise. We put in also our grant writer there, and also our labor consultant is in there also. So what we're gonna have to do there is we're gonna have to reconcile that. We'll do that, the next week or so. Get that to the tax collector.
So we'll need a resolution to balance out the
Yes,
lines?
yes,
Okay.
yes. We just got this. This is, and I know this is late in coming, but since Jim Quigley doesn't work here anymore, it now has double duty, when working on the AFR and working on this. So, and the AFR is like, in my opinion, the most important thing right now, because if we're gonna buy into the garage, we have to show up at the state. So that's more important than anything. So this is gonna be taken care of shortly. All right, so everything else there is basically what you're looking at it. There's also again, the buildings, $6,000, and that's 26,000 because that's where the maintenance there.
And where did that come out of again? It got moved into the building, but where was it?
Contractual, now it's,
Okay.
We'll contract that, yeah. So what we're gonna do basically is to offset that is to go into the 0.4 line and move the 20,000 back up that way.
Okay.
Okay. I guess the next one there is like parks more or less. We have an increase of from 4,000 to 4,200, but that was also the maintenance work working there at the park. That's something new. Going through.
Again, this is all pay lines, so.
We don't pay lines.
Has not been addressed yet.
We don't pay lines going through there. All right, and basically what you're seeing through here is just that so far, totally, we are, the total budget for that is 891,000, 7,000. These are all basically what pay lines going through here. And so far, we only paid out 541,000 of that. And
The planning, what's the increase for that one?
what is,
it's all Maggie. That's gonna be secretary.
Increase in hours or?
That's big,
I'm
right?
sorry.
The
that's the
planning
planning
PS.
secretary.
So she's working more
That would
hours than
be-
was
So that was
allocated.
something that's managed by the planning
It's gonna be
board.
all Maggie, right?
Well, I do want to say, coming into the beginning of the year, she was doing multiple positions. So I can't give you an honest
Oh,
assessment on that.
by the way, the zoning is so low.
She's doing
So
CBA
I
also,
can't, yeah, so you have to take into equation the full year. Unfortunately, we don't have month by month breakdown for you to see that.
Right, but the combination of the planning and the zoning was 25, and at this point, you're at 17,000.
So what I would do is I would take from the zoning when you do your transfer and equal that out.
Or what, however you want.
Okay. All right, so you know, like, like I said, in a week or so, we'll get this all reconciled. We'll be at the agenda to get.
Okay.
That was just the, town board.
Public and
It's
see.
still-
Now it's the public. Okay, all right, now. Anybody want to speak?
I do.
Still here?
Yeah, barely.
Here tonight to ask for a revision of the budget for the planning board, specifically A 80201 planning personal services for 2025. The proposed budget is for $17,700, which at $20 an hour would equal 17 hours a week. Planning board discussed and voted unanimously for 30 hours, a number I might add I did not suggest, but was a suggestion of and the consensus of the other planning board members. Now, you might have a different number in mind, and that's fine, but I urge you to find a number that's significantly greater than 17, which is terribly insufficient. I'd also like to note that when the town board chose to split the position of planning and zoning secretary clerk in two, the number 17 was chosen arbitrarily and does not account fully for the number of zoning board applications each year versus those that come to the planning board. And our numbers are rising in addition to that. Nor does it account for the more complicated nature of planning board applications. Otherwise, to make this reduced budget work, we must consider asking the planning board staff to be more efficient. This has been done, but can only go so far. Asking the planning board staff to work hours off the books. This is illegal and unfair. Replace the planning board staff. This would likely decrease our efficiency and would create a time lag as we attempt to train someone who may not even work out. Move some of the duties to the planning board staff to consultants and charge these to the applicants. This would be expensive and would be unpopular with the applicants. Or cap the number of planning board applicants on each month's agenda. This would delay applicant projects unnecessarily and would again be unpopular with the applicants. So again, I urge you to increase the planning board budget in the final budget, which I might remind the board has already been paid for with savings from how we allocate attorney time. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the conservation line. It's $1,500, and I assume that covers CAC and Climate Smart.
Conservation line, honestly, I've never used it.
No.
You have an H fund, you use your
I have an
allocation.
H fund.
You have an H fund, and that's
So the conservation line is not based on your committees. Your
Okay.
committees utilizes the H line, which I can tell you what you have in there.
It's like
Yeah,
13,000.
Sure.
I wasn't sure.
So the, excuse me one second, the Climate Smart currently has $11,255 in it. Did you request, you said something else, another one?
CAC,
So the CAC, which is part right now, but basically of the comprehensive plan, has a little over $55,600. Yeah, I can send that to you too, if you'd like an email.
yeah. We just want to make sure, because we do, like this year, we printed out the mailer that we sent out, so it's not a whole lot of money, but, and we have the website to pay for, things like that. And then I'm thinking these amounts are actually for the grants, like the matches maybe for the grants, especially for the NRI, maybe?
So anything contractual that you would utilize for your committee would come out of that. It could be used for grants, it could be used for flyers, it could be used for postcards, it could be putting an event on that you want to just, present the comprehensive review, things of that nature. That's where that would come out of that line.
Okay.
If you're looking for something specific, I don't have a problem trying to budget for something of that nature. So if there's a surplus, for example, say you spent $10,000 on mailings and things of that nature. At the end of the year, based on surplus, we can put 10,000 back into that H fund, so you're not feeling it so much. And it doesn't look like you're being reduced, but you're actually getting a little something. Because you guys are doing great things for the town, so I will have no problem you came to the board, I'm sorry, not me, came to the board and requested some sort of, revenue based on what you spent for the year to replenish your line, for example.
So when I look at the budget, is there, you said it's an 8, is it on that budget?
No,
No,
Okay.
that's a capital reserve fund. That's established.
it's
They
established,
first don't get reported.
Okay.
so it's established by resolution based on how you use it. So your climate smart, community utilizes that based on what was allocated in that resolution for use. And that's it. So that money is there for you to use,
Okay.
but, not 1,500,
Okay.
11,000.
That sounds a lot better.
But if you also have something in mind for the future, potentially think, we could also budget for that too. So anything that you feel, you know,
Yeah. All right, I'll keep my answer.
Yeah. and we have other HLIs potential, like if you're looking to do solar someplace, or you want to do something of that nature, we can potentially utilize some of these H funds for that too.
Okay.
Because there's a whole bunch of money in our solar. Mike's got to put him up.
Can I speak? Sure.
You said-
It is the public comment period. Good evening to the board, and I want to thank you for your consideration of the budget for my department. As you all know, I'm a strong advocate for my staff. So as John Perry brought up earlier, I did put in my budget request more money in the .4 line, 3620.4, excuse me, .1 personal services. And that was for a 16-hour-a-week part-time position. Now, to date, we've only brought in a little under $1,000 in fire safety inspections. They're not being done, don't have the staffing to do it. Obviously, the discontinuity, the lack of continuity with the clerk's position has something to do with that because the clerk does the mailings and the scheduling. Aside from that, short-term rentals, while we did get about half of them done, don't have the resources to continue on and be proactive about it. So my projected revenues for 2025 do not include any more money than I brought in to date. So the establishment of a full-time position and the elimination of the part-time positions, while it gives me some continuity, there's no way that one individual, since I'm largely an administrative position, is going to be able to conduct all the inspections that are required. The new position will also be absorbing the MS4 program, of which there are a great number of inspections, including the outflow inspections, which historically have never been done in Hurley. So we're trying to get caught up. A lot of the fire safety inspections have never been done. There's not even an inventory of the buildings and properties that need to be done. So for all intents and purposes, and this is not to disparage any of my predecessors. I have to take the time, whether it's weekends, nights, early mornings, or whatever. I actually have to create an inventory of the buildings and properties that need to be done for the fire safety inspection, recollate short-term rentals, which are fluid, and I need additional staffing to do that. I gave John Perry the numbers today of what I can expect ideally, project for short-term rentals and fire safety inspections if I can get 100 done a year. That will require one additional inspector. And that would largely offset the additional request, roughly $26,000 in the personal services line.
You said one additional inspector, you mean one additional part-time inspector.
Part-time, basically 16 hours a week, 2 8-hour days. And whoever does it, we all kind of share in the inspections, but I want somebody to take point on short-term rental and fire safety. Whoever's going to be the new person as part of a contingency plan when I retire, which is in the foreseeable future, I'd like whoever's going to be there full-time to learn the town, to learn the municipal code, to learn the zoning, get to know the residents, get to know the non-residential properties, get to know the neighborhoods and the sort of bifurcated halves of the town. And it's going to take about 2 years to do that. So I do have a contingency plan. This is not frivolous expenses that I put in there. I shaved it to a bare minimum. This is what I feel is an absolute minimum need for Hurley to move forward and fully join the 21st century. Now that we're 25 years into it. So, respectfully, that's my consideration. And I understand you have budget constraints. It's very important, but thank you for your time and your consideration.
Yeah.
In the past, we've had, a, fire safety officer. I can't say whether the level in which we have here listed for, a building code. I'm not sure building code 1 or 2. I'm not quite sure what he was. But on the basis of that, he came in, he would do our fire inspections. We did not have short-term rentals. Paul is correct about that. So these are things that have come about over, modern times. And, we have to have those fire inspections.
Yeah. You know what it is also, it's, I've been watching, the building department since I took office here, and it's nonstop. I mean, there's people in there all the time, working around there. Very rarely you'll see, the building inspector in the office, be more outside doing inspections and so forth, and, I mean, you can tell by the amount of money you bring in.
Yeah.
You know, and so that you're off working on. It turns out that, to hire a part-time building inspector would cost, let's see, $27,456 a year for 16 hours a week at $33 an hour.
And that would be a veteran. And quite frankly, this is, again, it's a partial consideration, and I can be ruthless when it comes to future considerations. I have 3 part-timers, and none of them are going to be there. At least if you create a part-time position, at least one of them with seniority based on the union contract, at least one of them hopefully can stay working. Because I don't want to tell anybody you don't have a job anymore. And I would do that. It's my department, it's my staff. I'll step up to the plate. Don't like it, but that's the reality of the situation.
Wait, they won't have a job for what reason? Well, run that by me again?
Because if the 3 part-timers are eliminated and it becomes 1 full-time position, not only am I going to post for it, they're all pensioners, Diana.
You got 3 part-timers right now?
Yes.
You
I've
have
got
3 part-timers.
Harold basically does 20 hours a week. I've got Robin does 16 hours a week, and I've got Clark that does 4 hours a week.
That doesn't include your clerk.
No,
Correct. Okay.
So there's basically 3 full-time equivalent people.
the 3 people are the equivalent of 1 full-timer, yes.
Right, but so there's equivalency of 3 FTEs in your department. You, your clerk is an FTE,
I don't know what you mean by
Full-time,
full-time equivalent, yes.
No, the clerk works 30 hours a week.
That's 0.75, okay, and so you've got 2.75.
Change that.
And how, that's your part-timers, how many hours a week do they work?
One's roughly 20, one's 16, one's 4.
So that's 1. That's 40 hours. That's 40 hours.
It worked. The reason that came about, I'm not happy with it. Robin was hired to do 4 hours a day, 5 days a week.
The
Then she
personnel
changed and
matter.
had to do 2 days and a half day. Then the day she started, she could only do 16 hours. And she wanted
This is
to
a
spread it.
personnel matter. We need to-
So, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. In any event, my point being is 1 full-timer is not enough.
how,
Fire.
Paul, my question was, okay, so
I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
my question was excluding the new mitigating factor of short-term rentals, right?
Mhm.
What is the scope of fire inspections that needs to be done? And how much does it take to conduct in time each fire inspection?
Well, if it's a 1-room barber shop, it's pretty simple. If it's Gascon Meyer, the former Woodstock Times building, or Newbridge Arms, or the Farm Hub, it can take 2 days.
Okay.
What's involved with the stuff, for example, the Farm Hub, I've got multiple types of uses, and I've got residential housing building. There are different types of inspections. So
Well,
scope and
they're
scale-
doing grade conditioning, they're doing all kinds of risks that,
Yes.
be looking for capacitor starters on motors and all kinds
It's
of.
very difficult to answer that accurately because no inventory had been done, and I have to undertake that in order to establish the program. I have to create the program.
Okay,
And the lack of fire inspections, should something happen, the town is liable.
Absolutely, it's mandated.
Yeah.
Some inspections once a year, some inspections
And-
once every 2 years,
And
some
it's
once
not
every
just
3 years.
liable for the town to be sued, it's liable for the fire departments who now have to go into potentially those buildings when they're burning. And if, there's things, the roof is not, not secure, now they're gonna go in there and we risk our
Well,
volunteer
it's
fire
enormous. For
department.
example, the grain area at the farm hub, if that winds up ultimately being classified as hazardous building, I'm probably gonna do the inspections personally, and it's gonna have to be done every 6 months.
Right.
I gotta make sure the good housekeeping, I can't have an explosion.
Right.
So you know, again, there's some buildings of magnitude. I don't even know what they're doing at Gasco Mar. That building's 50,000 square feet. Nobody's been in there since Tim Keefe was a part-time fire inspector in 2008. Nobody's been to the farm hall. There's buildings all over that have never been done.
This has to be taken care of.
It's critical. This is hence the need. I'm not pulling figures out for my budget. It's essential. Probably could use 2 full-timers, but if things slow down with the building department, then you're gonna have to lay somebody up. I don't want to do that. I want to try to make it work with a full-timer and part-time.
So it's an additional part-timer for the.
Yes, and they will largely be doing revenue generating inspections. The full-timer and myself will have to handle complaints the best we're able to handle.
Well, why don't we just increase the part-timers' hours?
We don't have a part-time.
You
Yeah.
said we have 3 part-timers.
We're going to a full-time.
Yeah, there are three part-timers that could be eliminated with someone full-timer.
Personnel.
Anyways, up to for discussion, you guys can address it.
Yeah, I'm just respectfully asking for consideration, nothing more. And I understand if you're not comfortable with it, then so be it.
I understand the gravity of what they're telling
Thank you, Tim.
I think we need to address this. I think we have to do something with it. You know,
Let's move back your session next meeting on it.
Thanks, Diana.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak? Okay. All right.
So we're gonna close the
Close the
public
public hearing.
hearing.
All right. A motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. So be it. Thank you for your important comments. Okay, we're up to hearings. Now, my question to you now, do we vote on the budget or we hold off on that?
I mean, that's the board's decision.
When do we have that budget line?
Has to be by November 15th.
Our next meeting.
Now, here's the thing. Has to be by November 15th. All right, but if we delay it to November 8th and give it to them and they send back saying, you know, it's a faulty thing of being thrown in there. We need that time to, you know.
If we give it to who by November 8th?
Is that
If we give it to who by November 8th? You just said we had to have it by the 15th.
15th has to be in for the control.
Right.
I think it means if we wait to
If we
go.
wait to the 8th, they can send
The
it
8th
back.
is a Friday.
The next meeting is.
And then whatever the next meeting is, whatever the next meeting is.
That's even worse.
That's even worse.
It's even worse.
Yeah, we need to have time just in case there's a,
But we're only voting on the total dollars, not every particular area.
We're on the budget.
Right, on the budget, on the total budget. What was just in the.
We can make changes without, as long as we don't move the levy.
right.
Correct.
Right. So, I think we have a resolution.
There is a resolution.
Scott, find it.
So do I.
So you can move within the budget, but you can't.
Can't change.
Right, you can't change the bottom line.
Here it is, right here.
Yeah.
All right, so are we finished discussing?
Yeah.
I'd like to read the resolution.
Yeah.
So,
Reason I,
yeah.
resolution to adopt the budget for the town of Hurley for the calendar year beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2025. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Budget is,
Roll call.
Wait, I have a question. I have a question. It says therefore be it resolved by the town board of town of Hurley, the budget as submitted, amended and summarized by fund. So amended after tonight?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Would you like me to read that? State well.
Yeah,
No, no, I
actually,
just wanted
if
to
you haven't read
I
this,
just-
this was not posted. It needs to be read in its entirety.
This was not supposed,
No,
this
this
was
is
not.
table.
It was given to us tonight.
Okay. All right, so, again, resolution to adopt the budget for the town of Hurley for the calendar year beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2025. Whereas the budget officer has prepared a tentative budget for the year 2025 and submitted the proposed budget to the town board and the town clerk for consideration, and whereas pursuant to town law, section 108, public hearing was held on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024 at Town Hall, 10 Wamsley Place, where said proposed budget is open for inspection by the public, and interested taxpayers will be given the opportunity to file or register any objections to said proposed budget. And therefore be resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley that the budget, these as submitted, amended, and summarized by the fund hereby is approved and adopted as the budget of the town of Hurley for the year 2025. Be it further resolved that the budget hereby approved and adopted shall be signed by the town clerk and made part of the public records of the town of Hurley. I vote yes.
Hang on. It's not the first. You need a second.
And you have to have discussion.
Second, by the second,
Second.
we have a discussion.
Right, so you're gonna post what you just went over in each line?
It's already posted.
So that's posted. What wasn't posted is the wording in the resolution.
But then we can still change it after we posted it, just at the.
You can move money between lines, however, we cannot change the overall budget.
Question for Matt.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, if you don't mind my asking the question. And how do you increase the budget by adding a special district if it's adopted? You can't change it.
I already put it into the minutes. So you're gonna be, that $450,000 is in the minutes and it's part of your budget based on what I read into the.
We gotta change it. Let me know.
No, that's a special district levy, not a general fund levy.
It does change, it does change your levies. She's right.
It doesn't, the levy for,
Your levy is on the paper.
I mean, I can-
We might have to wait.
Well,
And then you know.
if you guys want to have a
Special meeting.
an attorney client, and I can tell you what my legal advice I gave you guys before was, and maybe that can, you guys can maybe consider it again. So if you want to call a attorney-client privilege.
motion to enter executive session. So,
Not executive session, it's attorney.
motion to enter attorney-client session.
Okay, hold on. Like, do you withdraw your motion on the budget?
I will withdraw my motion on the budget.
Greg, do you agree with me?
I agree, yeah.
Okay, now, and now Tim and you seconded.
I second it.
Okay.
One needs to say all in favor.
All in favor?
I think you always do. I appreciate your support.
My guess is because they are.
Drive safe.
I can't say this on his behalf.
He's very astute, so he doesn't take any concern. He's advised more.
They may want to deal with that at the next meeting.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna have the crucial for things. I mean, I'm just gonna inform them.
Just like that's my bill.
The next is the agenda meeting on the 12th, and that also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we usually do them at the firehouse, but October, November, they couldn't give it to us, so the meeting on the 12th will be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're under budget. You could never come in the office and talk to him. Yeah, but to me, that's a service that should be provided by the town. They have to pay for it. If you buy a TV, you spend $1,000 on a TV, if it breaks, you gotta pay for the service. And that's what I'm thinking Hurley has to do with the building department. That's taking the residents deserve it, especially after 18 years of neglect. And I'm trying to do that, and that's what I'm saying. I'm no longer really much of a field inspector. I'm an administrator, and I don't mind. No, it's, somebody's gotta do the job, and, you know, I like to think I'm competent in it, so.
Yeah,
Kristen, you're making way too much noise. Don't wake me up.
Yeah, right.
I was taking a nap here, so.
All right.
Well, yeah, I'm just hoping they can move things around so that you can still get what you need, even if you're, but it sounds like there's money that you
Listen,
want,
if
it's not even part of it.
If they don't give me the budget, I'll pay the part-timer, and I'm not gonna burn somebody out if I can get somebody good. I'm not gonna cram anything down.
Right.
We're just gonna set a deliberate pace where nobody's gonna get totally stressed. Complaints are on the back burner. They're simply not gonna get done. fire safety inspections, other than the real big ticket items, aren't gonna get done. And then, short-term rentals, I can't be proactive if they remember to renew, great, if not. You know, and then it's, you know, I don't know, in my situation with the clerk. That position has historically been unstable. I have a terrific person now, but you know, I'm not taking it, it's not written in stone.
I've seen the turnover.
Yeah, so, you know, she's as good as she is, she's number one on 2 civil services. She's already said she wanted to come to work with Hurley. When Debbie came to the office 3 weeks ago, she goes, man, since I started here 3 weeks ago, she goes, I've already been on 3 other jobs for a lot of money. Of course she's good. She's smart, she's personable, she's excellent at work. She wanted the Hurley. But when she sees the volume of work that's coming through here and we're like, she even goes, she goes, Paul, I cannot get caught up. I said, neither can I. That's the building department. You know, it's relentless. And Mondays are just brutal. I mean, everybody wants to come in on Monday. It's nonstop. So, you know, look, we just take a deep breath. We'll get through the day. What do you think? Yeah, she's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're lucky to have her in the office. But this
Why-
is
Why did she want to live in Hurley specifically? Does she live in Hurley?
no, she doesn't. She lives in Lake Katrina. I think what happened was she came by here just to see what was going on. I don't know why. And Samara talked. She says, yeah, somebody came by here and said, what does a building department clerk do or whatever, you know? Samara goes, well, that won't be first. But then when we posted for the job, we canvassed the list. And there were only 2 applicants that were considered because the pay was so incredibly low. And she did an interview and she didn't have a lot of administrative experience on the residents. So you gotta come back. 5 people. That were short. She interviewed so well. She said, based upon what she heard, that really interested her to do that job. She liked it. For her. She's sister. So more people.
So. Just wanted to.
So I guess, towards our legal action is that.
You're making it. You have to make
Motion to exit attorney-client session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the suggestion right now is to table the accepting of the budget. So it'll be
We did close it.
You withdrew your motion. So all you're doing is just
Just gonna table it. We're just gonna table it to the agenda meeting.
Can basically
just move on.
move on
Move on.
to.
You don't even, it's not
There's
tabled.
no
It's
motion
just
on the table
move on.
and.
Approval of the minutes, yeah.
Debbie gave me.
Tracy, I got everything. They're all posted on the website
I
now.
understand, but there were some comments that were made and some, I don't know whether anybody else made any comments. Debbie made some comments. But I won't. I didn't see anybody.
Yeah, I saw them this morning.
I
just pointed out like some typos.
There was a typo, so I will make those corrections.
I didn't see anything that was extended.
Yeah, it was just, it's the way that the layout works.
Okay.
It was small.
I used a variety of different layouts to see if anybody. Well, and also if you have a preference in the layout, there was a variety of different layouts to see if some of them works.
My comment is just as long as it's consistent. Please.
And my name was misspelled. Time, Kelly.
Time.
Time, Kelly.
Time is on your
You
side.
caught an error. So I will make.
Miami.
Time, that's a good spice.
All right, so, all the minutes, they're all up to date as of the last agenda meeting and.
The only one left is tonight.
With the correction.
With the corrections.
Yeah.
All right,
All in favor?
all in favor of accepting the approval of the minutes?
Aye.
All right, okay. Town clerk's report?
Make a motion.
I made the motion.
And Greg. That's right. Yes. Okay, Carol, in my papers.
All right, so, town clerk,
Yes.
you're up.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna pass one of these down to you, Mike, just. So town clerk's report, we brought in a miraculous $40,006.97. This has land transfer station, not land, of a total of $24,611. Clerk fees, 260. Building department, 14,223. Vital statistics, 390. Park, 120. Minor sales for copying, $3. Landfill permits, $20. And dog licensing, $129. Cons, $250. So, I just would like to let you all know that there will be some retro changes that we're doing on our prior months because we now have figured out how to use the refund button. So what happens is that when people come and rent the park, they also pay a $100 security deposit, which is getting deposited, but once they come in and it's clean, they get it back. So we've just gotten all of that in. So the prior months are gonna have some minor adjustments, but in general, the system is functioning now well. The other thing that I needed to let you all know about was that the posting for the roof RFP was not done timely. We had some confusion of what, where. So when I did post it, we had originally at the town board meeting, you had given until, I think tonight, to receive bids. So
That was the extended time.
So we put it out until the 29th,
Yes, and it's been updated online as well.
so that you all know.
Can you see that?
You received one. You received one so far.
Let's see, correct?
Okay.
All right.
Question to ask you was, Tracy, how's it coming? Like, how's the new system with the building department bringing in the checks timely as opposed to like before?
No, the building department was always relatively timely. That was never an issue.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, in other words, instead of holding the check, they give it to you.
The building
They get to
department wasn't holding the checks. for any-
Wasn't everyone holding some of the checks sometimes being held?
Going back to, what else was there before? Monica, there were old checks that we just had to.
But nothing since I've been in.
It wasn't a lot, maybe 20 in the last year.
Okay. So. All right, good.
Wait, when you say there were 20,
Checks that were never processed.
This
And then
year?
there were fees that Aaron never collected, and issued permits too. So at this point, we're not doing a backtrack. Like
that
Arizona,
had nothing to do with us not getting the checks.
no, Arizona had a check for $1,500 from 2 years ago, Arizona veterans. I just returned it to them. I don't even know what the hell it was for.
That was nothing that I was aware of. So, no, and I believe that it was a stale check. So, but I believe at this point that we have been receiving the funds from the planning board.
Yes.
Sorry, I should have added timely in that statement.
Supervisor's report, I did that with the actual one, so let's get that one.
Do we have approval of the clerk's report
Oh, sorry.
of the fund balance?
All right, is there approval of the town clerk's report?
So motion.
Motion to accept the town clerk's report.
Tim's made the motion, who seconded?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Supervisor's report, as I said before, That was the, actuals.
That was actually for salaries, but how are we doing with the rest of it yet?
We're getting there. We're getting there. Wendy is now working on the point fours, contractuals.
Okay.
We'll get that.
We still don't know what we spent for 2024.
So,
We
yes,
still don't know what our year-to-date on other than the point ones are for 2024, right?
once we get the point one to the point fours, and, you know, there's very few of the point.
And how are we with the 2023 as far as getting?
Well, here's what it is. Speaking to Wendy and Wendy Falzano over at RBT, they requested quite a few things, and Wendy is like sending them to them, and now is a direct portal to them. Whatever sent gets to it, and so far everything's running smoothly. They're working on it, and within about maybe a week, 2 weeks, we should get something from that. Now, my question is this: once we get the AFR back from RBT, must we do an audit? The independent audit.
We were told that we had to do about it.
Okay, all right.
Were we not?
Yeah. We were told. It was like, it was recommended. I recommend that.
Are we in a position to do an audit?
No, he's saying when we do get the stuff from our.
When we get it back, when we get RBT gets it back. RBT can't do the audit because they're involved.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right, so we recommended by the state controller that we do an audit, independent audit.
Yes,
So we've already resolved to hire UHY.
Yeah.
Earlier.
And I've been in contact with UHY, letting them know that once we get the AFR back from RBT, we're gonna ship it over to them. Do it, independent audit. All right, so I will have, probably by, the agenda report, at the agenda meeting, I'll have the entire expenditures, the point one to point four.
For
For
2024.
2024. However, we don't know that for 2023 yet.
I know.
That's the only problem. Okay,
And you have your revenues also. I think.
yeah, you want?
I think you also have your revenues as well.
And that's very helpful. I mean, good for John that he could do the budget without it. You know, but you
Well,
need that
I did have help. There's a lot of footwork, but I can't say it wasn't just, I think it was a lot of internal help.
I give John a lot of credit for doing what he did.
You guys know the skin and bone budget, so don't waver on it.
Okay,
We know that.
You're on macaroni, no, that's good.
Right.
all right, next.
You have
We need a motion to accept the supervisor's report, partial report.
Mike can't make the motion.
Motion to accept the supervisor's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, assessors report.
So, I can pull it up for you.
This assessors report, all the locations that have been, sales more or less, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 6, I should say. Done, and there they are with the prices and so forth.
I'll make a motion to accept that report. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye,
Aye.
the building department report. You have it, there it is.
There it is.
Okay. Now, this is for September 2024. Your clerk's report is also is updated. The 22nd of October, then, right? What? September. So I see a difference there. I see revenue for August was 15,108.
But she gave them for September.
This is September. This is August.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, again, $131,000 is revenue coming into the building department. I think that's quite substantial.
Thank you. No.
Yeah. but you're-
Right.
you're-
I think that's substantial.
We're trying.
Okay, next page.
This building.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, new business now. And I want to thank Kristen Shara and I want to thank the Climate Smart community. I got notifications yesterday that $25,000, we should be look out for $25,000 that's coming in to, yes, for, thank you so much.
Congratulations. Once you do, let me know. And we'll
Say what?
Do you have you received the grant? If you have, well,
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes,
It's been
well, they
approved.
notified us that it was coming.
They notified us the check is on its way. It's totally in the mail.
Okay.
What's that money gonna be?
I'll talk to you. Here's that money's gonna be utilized. $5,000. We have the EV charger.
Oh, this is the EV charger.
This is, well, we have the EV charger that's costing, that's in a sense, it's a matching thing. We have to pay $5,000. We pay $5,000 and the county pays $5,000. Our $5,000 comes from the $25,000. Yeah, so that's across town now. The remaining $20,000 we're talking about when we do the old library, we do the Hurley Heritage Center,
HHCC.
Hurley Heritage Community Center. All right, what we're planning on doing is taking the remaining $20,000 and using it for heat pumps.
Heat pumps and the electrical upgrades.
Oh,
Now,
Two
that-
mini splits and the new electric panel.
which is really good because our portion of paying for the HCC is about $100,000.
So,
Now we just reduced it to 80,000.
I mean, Mike, this is all pending, this is conjecture because it's pending bids and construction costs and all that.
Right.
Yes.
This
This is
is
good.
On that topic here, I know this is it's old business, but still, how are we doing on the no, you're gonna meeting with no?
I have a meeting with them coming up on Halloween. I've included to try to have you on that
I
meeting
will
as
be
well.
there.
Okay,
I'll be there.
and,
Would you also do me a favor? Would you give, Debbie here, what's her name again? Sangita?
Of Senji.
Sangita, our contact number, contact information, you have it.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
And then right now we've got the roof out to bid, okay? And the suggestion next step is also on the plans, okay? I didn't hear anything back from the committee. So at this point, I would say that second round of plans is out of committee. And I think the next step would be to workshop it with the public. It's just to put it out in the air, like, especially, you've got neighbors and it's in the historic district. So just, if people, that way we don't end up costing ourselves even more down the road. Although we probably would incur costs from the architect at this point to make changes because we've already done a second round. We did sort of a first round and then kind of changed our mind a little bit and did some moves. So yeah, there could be additional architect fees there if it were to be changed significantly at that stage. However, then the next stage from that would be, we would end up at, the necessary town approvals. So, and we would need a resolution to approve the funding. There's a variety of steps in this, but basically where we are now and where we're going is the workshop, I would say. And then the financial approvals through the town, out of the bidding, and then, and then you commence construction. And then at some point you put, you stand outside and have a dedication and stuff.
We're referring to the library.
Yeah.
We're not putting this in. Other than the roof, right?
Only the roof.
Only the roof.
Only the roof will go to bid?
Yes.
Okay, you sure of that? No, that's right.
I thought you had discussed that, the roof was a little bit.
No, the roof is out to bid.
The roof is out to bid right now.
Yes.
We're waiting for bids.
Ran out of bed.
So,
All right.
so I just want to be clear on the agenda. The money from NYSERDA was awarded, not received, correct?
Yeah, it's been awarded, not received.
You have it on there as received, so I just want to.
No, I said,
No, you got it.
On the agenda.
no, okay, it's been awarded.
Correct. I just want to check.
And the check's in the mail.
So you have $36,000 in your account.
Hazard mitigation plan.
We sent, I said, Debbie sent out all the plans to you guys. Have you read it, gone through it? All right, we're just gonna, at the next town board, the next agenda, we'll do further discussion, look at it more or less.
I don't think we need to the only thing I would question is look at the timeline on that.
Has to be
get it
done before the
approved.
end of the year.
Yeah.
But the thing is, do we have a local plan in place?
I think, that's with Cornell Cooperative Extension is doing that with us. We
As an
do.
integration plan?
No,
Is that one of the things that they were asking us?
no, that was, they're offering to do a, heat emergency plan.
Okay.
That's-
So,
Yeah.
I believe emergency plan has an
The
investigation.
emergency management plan. was
yeah.
something to look at. Yes.
Reach
I
out
looked
to
to see
me
if we have
this
an
week
existing-
or next week at the latest.
So, again, so we have, so we'll look at that over the next 2 weeks, so, and we'll bring it back on the agenda meeting. And by the way, on the issue of the agenda meeting, it's going to be here again, right?
Yes, which is why.
Agenda meeting's here again.
Yeah, the firehouse was, otherwise.
Okay, all right, the next thing is the UPS EU contract.
If I could just go back to the hazard mitigation, whatever you do, please involve Paul, especially specifically about whatever's going on at the hub. That hazard mitigation plan, what do you think?
Okay, this is something that county did. I think it's
Yeah, this is just so
also
that
on
we
the
can get
emergency management
FEMA,
plan for the town.
yeah, so we can get FEMA funding, but we should have an emergency management plan in place already that we would reference in, okay, so as I said, be in touch with me so we can go through what's.
So as far as hazard mitigation,
This is just so that we
County.
qualify, it's a county-wide,
FEMA.
but FEMA provides the county the money, but if we don't pass this resolution by the end of the year, we cannot be eligible for any of that. FEMA.
If
so
something
it's not a
happens,
development of a policy, it's just a resolution.
No, it's-
Part of.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's.
okay.
It's a participation.
I can talk to
but
you
we still
about
have
that.
a resolution to approve it, that the county then.
So we have to opt in to participate.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. In effect, that's what's gonna happen when resolution is passed.
Sorry.
Okay,
We're still working on emergency management plan, and Paul's very involved with that. He's part of that committee.
okay. All right, so again, on the next agenda meeting, at the next agenda meeting, we will discuss further and hopefully pass a resolution. All right.
Just to opt in, yeah.
All right, now the next topic is the UPS EU contract. It's on the screen. That is the
That's in Samaritan.
Well, you were your first executive session.
Okay, so this will.
This was, has to be read in.
all right. Resolution to ratify the collective bargaining agreement with the town hall bargaining unit. Whereas the town of Hurley has previously recognized a bargaining unit known as the United Public Service Employees Union, composed of employees at town hall and the transfer station, and whereas the collective bargaining agreement between the town and UPS EU has been voted on and passed by a majority of current members, and whereas the bargaining team has agreed to terms and conditions of the contract from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to ratify the CBA to the town and UPS EU. Do I have a motion? Second, I have a second, I should say. All right, discussion.
You gotta change the date on this, because the date on the contract for us is July. Executive session, he said this is dated September. I think you have to use the date of,
July 1st?
this was dated September, he said. The lawyer that talked to you on the phone.
Well, he's gonna sign the same one that was executed there for the purposes of passing this, the contents of the one that was,
The one
that
that we
we're
have,
referencing right here, that was passed by, the majority of current members, that was voted on. That is what you are basically authorizing.
Right, this one, I know, the one we have here that we have to sign is September 2024 to December 31st, 2026.
okay, so change that from January, okay.
Because we should change that?
No.
No,
The terms and conditions of the
Same.
contract last the period of time that this contract governs, as we discussed,
Right, but
is from January 1st, 2024.
That's not this. That's the agreement you made for the year of 2026.
right, this one. Remember the dates on the top.
right, but the date is on the page 23, it's July, July's the date.
But that's just the version. There's
just
talking
the
two different
That's
things,
just the
version of the contract versus what you're adopting. You're adopting.
Any discussion on this?
No.
Any other discussion?
All there.
Aye.
Busy?
Tracy, we do roll call?
Yes, please. I didn't really even realize these were here. So I didn't get it, so I'm just looking at it, but yes, roll call. Supervisor Bonds,
Yes.
Councilperson.
Aye.
Hi.
Deanna,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
motion passes 5-0.
But it's not really good.
Hey, it did go out. Regular, you got to sign.
So this is resolution number 2. That was the resolution number 204. Because that was the first formal resolution. Right? Yes.
I accidentally, I know I accidentally. Mike said that's. No, just Diana and.
Right.
Just, yeah.
Because they were the.
Yeah.
I think I can sign it also.
Yeah. I have to
Just take it to the next. All right, so you're going to make lead on this.
So you're the.
Yeah.
No, it sounds.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Sign that one, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. Thank you, sir.
What are you doing? Playing late.
Thank you.
Yeah, get some great things
Well, yeah,
done.
we're good. You want to stay with the end?
Oh, I thought we were done.
Oh, no.
No.
What do we got going on?
What resolutions?
What resolution?
No, there aren't any more resolutions. I
There is.
There's no more.
Except quote for installation of highway truck GPS and cameras. And we're gonna purchase some replacement fire trucks.
I thought.
Oh, piece of John.
Second that.
The GPS.
Thank you.
No, no, Mike sent me a thing. Meeting now to vote on it tonight.
Jason,
You guys have the actual information?
I can hear my person right now, like.
So he's canceling those and then he's keeping those.
do I check my calls out there?
Okay.
Ask Lloyd.
What are one of these?
This is at 3:07. Hope you can support passing resolution tonight. At 3:07 from Mike Schultz.
For what resolution?
Yeah, the GPS, the other one, you guys aren't even have the.
I don't have a
You don't have the numbers.
Yeah,
I don't have.
so this isn't a switch.
But, Mike, where else is the agenda? Let's do the agenda.
Yeah, we're doing, okay, resolution, accept the call for the installation of a highway truck GPS and cameras.
Okay, so Mike's making that resolution. Who's seconding it?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
So this is, we're getting rid of the Verizon deal with the trucks and we're going with industry Samsara's very like industry standard. I've actually used it, before. I've had a vendor that sent me links from it. So it's, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that might be this one as well. Okay.
All right. Let me just, so Mike Schultz.
Oh, that is not the matter at hand.
Should we do that on the because
Okay, so this is a GPS. It's on the screen. All right, so we have.
We'll call the question, if there's no discussion. Yeah, there was, I got the second.
I spoke under discussion.
You spoke in discussion. Anybody else?
Anybody else? All in favor?
I,
Opposed?
Passes 5-0.
What did you give us? Okay.
and here's one.
What's that last? What's that?
All right, that's John Cross.
Who had to leave?
There is.
It's here. It's here.
Right, but we don't have all of the information. If you
Yes,
notice,
those
there's a variety of blanks.
Do you guys have that information?
I don't
I think
have
Mike may
that.
have been talking about the GPS.
No,
No.
He sent the
This
text.
is what we talked about the last meeting, and he said, I had to go to Albany for personal matter and won't make meeting, but needs second resolution adopted in second to get attorneys moving on bond. Won't make
Yeah,
the
I
trucks,
grab that out.
others a little. You can support passing with the.
But we can't one for the truck. Let's.
Yes, those are different.
so what he sent to me. You just read that I got.
This is from.
Okay.
This is different.
Yes, the resolution was for 2, and we spoke about replacing the other 2.
Okay.
Right, and this is the replacement of the
The
other
other
two,
two.
which he wants to get before when the.
Before the new law in New York
before
comes
the
into.
2027 emissions law comes in, he wants to purchase.
Two more trucks, two
So
more
this
trucks.
is 4 now. This is not the same.
No.
Right.
What it is,
The new emissions unit is 48 volt less amps and will cause a major re-engineering of plow frames as manufacturers hanging this unit off the frame rail behind the cab on the passenger side. Costs on trucks and upfitting will be rising due to this.
Did he give you the information that fills in
He
the
should
blanks,
be-
like what the price
yeah.
is?
You're supposed to
So-
say.
I'm trying to look at.
What do you say? I don't-
So this is the one with the.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is so square.
Yes, it is.
So Mike, there's a totally different resolution in here.
I don't have any of it, so I.
So the only one that I had no.
I have this one
So
here.
I have that one.
I have this one
Is it my
where
packet? You got it?
I have it.
Okay, so sorry, I didn't get the
Snow
updated.
plows, 2 snow plows.
Okay. So,
This is all about the emissions. He wants to get 2.
okay, so I'm
trucks
gonna,
before the
okay,
emission law changes.
I have blanks in my packet, so. So the equipment is not to exceed, to replace trucks 3 and 5. And it's not to exceed $277,966.09.
trucks 3 and 5, where's it say that?
Last
The
paragraph.
last of their.
Warranty is 3 and 5. That's warranty options 3 and 5.
Okay. Not trucks, 'cause the other one I had was 7 and 8, so.
Caparelli trucks.
Yeah, we have the quotes here in the packet. I mean, that shows the extended warranty. But that's the warranty.
But, yeah, okay.
For.
I think it's just worded back.
Oh, this is, what's the 347,000 now?
That's another truck, that's
That's the second one.
the second truck.
Two trucks. One for 227,966.
Okay, I
and
saw,
one for
yes,
227.
Forget that.
Got
John. Could you just tell me what's? Tell me an indication of what's in it. Yep. I mean, I know he has. I think we're going there.
But we already approved.
What do you need?
How much is in
This is a bond.
This is not a bond.
The both
The
of
bond
them.
was
The
fine.
both-
Both of us?
the both of them.
Both gonna be bonds, I think, yes. And you need this for the attorney.
Well, no, it's gonna be, it's gonna be one bond for both trucks.
Right.
And so we're gonna take the bond, and at this point right now, the interest rate is 4.4%. From that, it came down.
As scrappy or as off as this is, the reason I think this is important is I think we're going into a period where the technology of these vehicles is not going to be certain. and we're coming under a law that's gonna potentially make it so that we're forced to do something that maybe in a few years, then we're like, this thing's, you know, like we've got a truck that's like a brick sitting up at the highway garage. So I would say like, let's do this.
I think that's why he did it after that conversation with last time, but the bond is 4-something%, but we're getting 5% interest on the money.
Well, no.
Yeah, that's just at the start. That's.
What do you, John, what are you looking for?
I said,
Nobody motioned this one yet.
yeah, they
So now we're,
Oh.
okay, so.
Oh, that was the other one, yeah, that was the other
Because
one.
Mike's, the problem is Mike's not here to talk to us and explain it to us.
I understand.
So I do want you to understand there isn't a bond. This resolution is not for a bond.
This is not for a bond.
No, this is not for a bond.
So
So
the
you're,
last one was for a bond.
right, so this, so you asked me the allocation, how much is in that H3? Yes. So the H3 line currently has $332,000 in it, which is enough for one truck capital. So how is this gonna work?
These are the last
Yeah,
4
I
diesel
can't
trucks
answer
that I
that
ever bought.
question.
The two that we already
Where's the
bought.
money coming from?
Is this something necessary you vote tonight, or
No,
is
that's
it something
before.
that maybe by the 8th, or not the 8th, well,
Well, he said that he hoped it would win tonight, so the attorneys can work on
but I
it.
think there's this issue, if there's not enough funds in this capital
That's
H
what I
fund,
Right.
that's
Let him call
something
Mike
that
and see
maybe
if
we
he'll
can
tell
try to
us.
figure
Under
out.
capital H, 3H highway equipment.
I mean, the only thing I can think is that there's, Mike assumes he has some sort of revenue base coming in based on surplus, but that has not been addressed. So you have to put that in the account before you can address your investment risk.
This is why,
Yes, this is getting
this
tabled.
is why we have to know these
He had
numbers.
an emergency, had to go on.
But that's fine, but even in the case of him having an emergency, there's no money left.
I mean, Mike, no, the thing is, this has to be done before January 1st.
Well, okay, well, then we can table this until he gets more clear and we have more
There were
clarity.
no motions made?
No, there was no.
So maybe-
All right,
Yeah,
now we have old business.
the two trucks previously have been approved.
That's done.
That's already
And that bond.
That's fine.
So at this point, are we at the end of, and we're just saying, old business reminder, the meeting for November 12th will be here in this building.
Correct.
No, I got one more thing. Bruce, you told us the last meeting that at this meeting, Paul was gonna give us a resolution for what to do on that house on Old 209 and what kind of monies and what, and I don't see anything for that.
He has gone, my last talking to him, he is working on that, he's gonna get that out together.
Right, but you said that he was going to give us, we have to let him know what we're willing to spend to do something with the impression like us
Yeah, but,
when we were talking.
That, I can, say it. So we just.
Well, there's nothing on the agenda either, so
Well, it should have been on the agenda.
Then why don't we all review the documents that you were provided tonight? You'll be put on the agenda for, agenda meeting for next month. And, by that time, everyone will have the information you need to discuss it further.
What's the address of the house?
it's Old 209, I don't know if it's 300 something.
Old 209, just say old 209 house.
Yeah.
No. Paul and Diane.
It's the Alice house,
And there's no
Alice Engel.
public presence, so there is no public comment.
Okay.
Hold on, we have new resolutions. that are
Yeah,
brought
but
in.
Not here.
So that's.
And they weren't on the agenda, they were just dropped off.
So it's just a review.
Yeah, they'll be posted now that they actually have them, they'll be posted and ready to be addressed at the next agenda meeting.
What's going on, what's going on with this? What's going on? This is actually for alienation. It's to get, send it to
They
Sarah
can't do it
Hahn,
anywhere.
send it to Michelle Hitchingham. This is what they need to the state legislator. It's also requesting community secret. Doing a lot of work that's being done here and going through. So as you know, as I was talking before to John Bryce, if they get all the paperwork done, which seems like it's moving in that direction, we get the AR done, they can put a show on the ground sometime in March. And they can finish by December. What?
Really?
Maybe a portion of it.
Seeing will be believing on that one.
I'll believe that.
John wants to say anything about it?
Government
I'm
funded
sorry, I missed it,
construction
but I'd love to know how it went.
It was great. I kind of give a little description of it. It was a beautiful day. We had a little, probably about, I would say, 200 people come for the event. We had another 400 people that were on the field. Yeah, it was,
You have to understand something, the 200 people that came were the parents of the.
right. No, right.
Yeah. It was nice. The weather was beautiful, the food was good.
People were out in the
I
park.
have to say that because I haven't received cash, so.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
All those in favor?